At Denver Airport's Terminal B, at the security checkpoint, you'd see the same man every day. Frank Williams, 52 years old, never smiling, following every rule to the letter. Passengers didn't like him, but no one had ever asked who he was. Until that medal fell from his pocket. Welcome to the Hidden Page Stories. Before we begin this surprising story, tell us in the comments what city you're watching from today, and if you believe stories like this need to be heard, hit that subscribe button to help keep these stories alive. Denver International Airport's Terminal B woke up to the same chaos every morning. Suitcases, late passengers, long lines forming at the security checkpoint. And every morning, in the same place, you'd see the same man. Frank Williams, TSA security officer. 52 years old, short, gray hair cut quite short. His uniform was always perfectly pressed, badges flawlessly positioned. But what you remembered most was that he never smiled. Frank's shift started at 6 a.m. and ended at 2 p.m. During his 8-hour shift, he repeated the same routine: check passenger, examine X-ray monitor, search bag, check passenger. He never looked tired, never rushed, but never friendly either. Passengers didn't like him. Too strict, they'd say. Shows no flexibility. Like a robot. Indeed, Frank followed rules to the letter. Liquid limit strictly 100 milliliters, shoes must come off. Laptops in separate bins. No exceptions. Other security officers would occasionally turn a blind eye, let small violations slide. Frank never did. Every passenger got the same seriousness, the same attention. As if every bag was a potential threat. Managers loved him because he never caused problems. Colleagues respected him but kept their distance. Passengers saw him only as a rigid bureaucrat. No one asked about Frank's past. No one wondered how he lived at home, why he was so serious, why he never smiled. He was just a security officer who did his job, stayed quiet, kept to himself. That Wednesday morning was like any other. At 6:15, Frank had taken his position at the checkpoint. The first passengers were starting to arrive. Routine checks, routine questions, routine procedures. Around 9:30, a young businessman arrived. James Chen, 28 years old, in a suit, rushing. He had a laptop bag, wearing an expensive watch. He was going to Los Angeles for an important meeting. Please remove the laptop, Frank said. Really? This is a very small laptop. That's the rule, sir. Put the laptop in a separate bin. James angrily pulled out the laptop. What kind of system is this? Frank didn't respond. He looked at the X-ray operator, waited for the checks to be completed. The alarm went off. Please step back, Frank said. What alarm? I didn't do anything. Belt buckle showed metal. You need to remove it. This is ridiculous. Belt buckles are metal anyway. Sir, please remove the belt. James started yelling, what rule is this? It makes no sense. Call your manager. Other passengers started turning to look. The line was getting longer. Frank remained calm. Sir, if you remove the belt, you can pass through quickly. No. I'm protesting this system. Who are you to ask me for my belt? I'm a TSA security officer, sir. Our security protocols. Security protocol? James laughed angrily. Have you ever seen war? Do you know what real threat is? Or do you just like harassing innocent people? Frank's expression didn't change, but something flashed in his eyes. Sir, please remove the belt. No. I want your manager. This man is too strict, too absurd. I'll go through another checkpoint. As James angrily turned to leave, grabbing his bag, Frank leaned forward, trying to pick up the metal detector wand that had fallen on the floor. And at that moment, something fell from his jacket pocket. A metallic sound. Heavy. Shiny. A medal. Sarah Martinez, a passenger nearby, looked at the object on the ground. Her eyes widened. "Oh my God," she whispered. Medal of Honor. The United States' highest military decoration. Star-shaped, with blue ribbon, shining gold. Valor written on it. Sarah recognized this medal. Her father was a veteran, he had told her what these medals meant. This medal was only given to the bravest, most selfless soldiers. Those who risked their lives in war to save others. "Sir," Sarah said in a soft voice. "Is this yours?" Frank looked at the medal, then at Sarah. There was a long silence. The airport noise seemed to fade away. "Yes," he said finally. James was still trying to find the manager but heard Sarah's voice. He turned. He saw the medal. Is this the Medal of Honor?" James asked, his voice trembling. Frank picked up the medal, put it in his pocket. "From old times." "Sir," Sarah said. "How did you earn this medal?" Frank looked at her. For the first time in years, someone was truly seeing him. Iraq. 2005, Fallujah. What happened? Frank took a deep breath. He hadn't told this story in years. IED exploded. Our convoy was hit. 3 vehicles were burning. 12 soldiers were trapped inside. A small crowd was starting to gather around them. Everyone was listening. They ordered us to fall back. It was too dangerous. But my buddies were inside. What did you do? James asked, his anger now gone. I went back. 4 times. Each time I brought out 2 people. The last time. I got out just as the vehicle exploded. Silence. Did they all make it? Sarah asked. 11 of them. 1. Frank stopped. 1 was too late. James now understood. Why this man was so serious, why he took every security check so seriously, why he never made exceptions. Sir, James said. I apologize. Frank looked at him. You don't need to apologize. I'm just doing my job. But I didn't understand. You're a real hero. No, son. I'm just a soldier who didn't want to lose his buddies. And now I'm a security officer who wants to protect passengers. That day James missed his flight. He talked with Frank for an hour. Frank told him things he hadn't told anyone, how he looked for potential danger in every X-ray image, because he couldn't forget what he'd learned in Iraq. How he thought every bag could contain a bomb, because he'd seen the bag that cost his friends their lives. Before boarding her flight, Sarah thanked Frank. I'll see you differently now, she said. You're protecting all of us. Something changed in Terminal B that day. Passengers started treating Frank differently. No one complained. Some said, thank you. A few veteran passengers saluted him. Frank didn't change. He still worked with the same meticulousness, still followed rules to the letter. But now people understood why he acted that way. A week later James came back to Denver. He looked for Frank. Sir, it's good to see you again. This time I'll take off the belt myself. Frank smiled for the first time. Very slight, very brief, but a smile. Rules are there for all of us, son. To keep you safe. Frank Williams still works at Denver Airport. He still conducts checks with the same meticulousness, still strictly adheres to rules. But now passengers see him differently. He no longer carries the Medal of Honor in his pocket. It sits in a special box at his home. But the responsibility he carries is always with him. Because some people continue to serve even after becoming heroes. The battlefield just changes. Frank now fights at the airport. Against terrorist threats, against carelessness, against security gaps. And every bag he checks, every passenger he stops, is to ensure that day when he lost his friends never happens again. Sometimes the people who seem hardest have the softest hearts. Sometimes those who apply rules most strictly are those who know best why those rules exist. Frank Williams had seen a lot. He had lost a lot. But the most important lesson he learned was this: security is not a luxury, it's a necessity. And someone has to provide it. If this story touched you, tell us in the comments, have you ever misjudged someone, only to later learn who they really were? And don't forget to subscribe so more people can hear stories like these. At the Hidden Page Stories, there's a story behind every judgment, a reason behind every strictness. Because sometimes the biggest hearts are hidden behind the most serious faces.